Let's talk about the endocrine system. The endocrine glands release specific chemical messengers called hormones directly into the bloodstream, so it is known as a ductless system. Hormones produce their effect by binding to receptors, which are recognition sites on the various target tissues on which the hormones act. Each hormone has its own receptor. Now, this is the endocrine system, but the exocrine system is different. And within this system, they secrete their components into a duct or some type of tube. Examples are sweat glands and mammary glands. Okay? All right. So let's talk about the endocrine system. First of all, we have the hypothalamus, and this has indirect control through release of regulatory hormones. Okay, these are called hypophysiotrophic hormones because they're formed in the hypothalamus. And there's corticotropin releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing hormone, growth hormone releasing hormone, growth hormone inhibiting hormone. Now this is also known as somatostatin. It inhibits the release of growth hormone, which is somatotropin, also insulin, glucagon, and gastrin, and it's used to treat acromegaly, gigantism, and pancreatic tumors. We have prolactin releasing factor, prolactin inhibiting hormone. This inhibits the release of prolactin, also called prolactostatin. These are a dopamine agonist used to treat hyperprolactinemia. Now, let's talk about the difference real quick between an agonist and an antagonist. An agonist is a drug that binds with receptors in our body and triggers a response from the cell. This initiates a response. An antagonist is a drug that binds to the receptor and blocks the normal response, so it prevents a response. Okay, and then hypothalamus has direct release of the hormones through sensory stimulation and osmoreceptor stimulation. Now the big one in this one, the osmoreceptor, is ADH, antidiuretic hormone. It's made by the hypothalamus in the brain and stored in the posterior pituitary. ADH constantly regulates and balances the amount of water in your blood. Okay. Regulatory hormones are released into the hypophyseal portal system for delivery into the anterior lobe of the pituitary. So the anterior lobe, another term for that, is the adenohypophysis, and the posterior lobe right here is called the neurohypophysis. So let's talk about the anterior pituitary first. So it secretes several hormones. One of them is ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and that has its effect on the adrenal cortex. Okay. The adrenal cortex produces glucocorticoids. These are your steroid hormones such as cortisol and cortisone. It also produces mineralocorticoids, that's your aldosterone, and your gonadocorticoids, which are your androgen, estrogen, FSH and LH. TSH stimulates the thyroid to produce your thyroid hormones T3 and T4. Growth hormone stimulates the liver to produce the somatometins, okay, and then that has an effect on bone, muscle, and other tissue. Your prolactin has its effect on the mammary glands. Your FSH, LH, they both work on the testes of the male. Okay, they produce inhibin, which decreases the sperm count, and testosterone, and the female, they produce estrogen, progesterone, and inhibin, and inhibits FSH. Okay, this MSH is the melanocyte stimulating hormone, and it stimulates the melanocytes. Now, from the posterior pituitary, we have oxytocin, and in the males, smooth muscle in the ductus deferens and prostate glands, and the females, it works on the uterine smooth muscles and mammary glands. And then we have ADH, antidiuretic hormone, works in the kidneys. Okay. Oh, it's not going. There we go. The renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. Okay. So the renin is produced in the kidneys, angiotensin is produced in the lungs, and the aldosterone is produced in the adrenal cortex. Okay, so the angiotensinogen is converted to angiotensin 1, okay, through the action of renin. Okay, and then this ACE, or angiotensin converting enzyme, converts angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. And it has a lot of functions, as you can see. The main one right here is arteriolar vasoconstriction. It increases blood pressure. So this whole system is designed to increase the blood pressure. Now, as angiotensin increases, the renin level decreases. Okay? So again, the overall effect is an increase in blood pressure and blood volume. And for those of you studying pharmacology, this is a little side note that the generic names of all ACE inhibitors end in PRIL.